G'day everyone, Scott here from One Green Thumb Gardening in Toowoomba. Today I just wanted to talk about weeds in southeast Queensland. Just want to say thank you very much to all my subscribers and people who leave me feedback. I do appreciate it, good and bad. I mean, everyone's got their own opinion, so it is nice to bounce off other people. Even if the feedback is negative, that's how we sort of learn, is by different processes. So this video is, Nick asked me a question about weeds in southeast Queensland. Now, as much as I study and try to learn about weeds, my brain is like a sieve, which makes it extremely complicated. But on this paddock here, like we've got, some people call it sedge, some people call it caustic weed, and then we've got this guy here is yellow vine. Then we've got mallow, which is this guy. There's also a orange leaf one. There's a tall variety and a short variety. You've got your paspalum. There is also, we've got sow thistle. I believe that's a mustard weed. But in my gardens, we had like lots of purslane, cobbler's pegs, sow thistle. The trickiest part is when they start to come up in amongst your flowers. Generally, what I do is I'll spray most of them just with Buffalo Master. Like I'll just spray the plant. Then, so like cobbler's pegs like this is when you really don't want to spray them. You actually just want to remove them. And because you don't want the transfer or the seeds to be dropped back into where you are. The next trickiest one is grasses in amongst. You sort of just have to pull them out. Oh, though I broke that guy. Bit hard one hand. All right, so, and then depending on where I am and what I'm doing, I will find a spot where I just dump the weeds, because sometimes it's just easier to spray Roundup on a section like this than trying to control a certain weed in a garden bed. So I've only just taken over this property about 2 months ago. So we've come through on this one, we've put a good thick layer of forest mulch down and then put new plants in. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of mulch you put down, how thick, things like kikuyu will just hammer their way through, especially underneath these tiny quick curb, these concrete garden edges. They're only about 70 to 80 mil thick. The next thing in learning is weeds is what controls what weed. So like when you start going on to say Barmac, which is a great website for the product and the weed, they don't generally tell you specifically how to kill the weed. So like say if we go into cobbler's pegs, they'll come up with a selective herbicide, so like Camber or Buffalo Master. But then it's like, what does that product then kill? Does it take out mustard? Does it take out sow thistle, your Scotch thistle? And then of course, when do you stop and how many different products can you buy? My most used products is Camber and 2,4-D on a couch lawn, and then Buffalo Master and 2,4-D on a kikuyu buffalo lawns. They take out pretty much most things. And then like you've got your Star Rain, which is expensive, but it takes out your mallow. And then of course, like for your 2,4-D for your Burmetic, which is this guy, looks like a clover. So it's more of a winter weed. It's now should be starting to come, winter weed. So there's your little burrs that stick to everything. 2,4-D does it. So does Camber. These caustic weeds or the sedges is also 2,4-D and Camber, but they do hurt your kikuyus and kikuyus and buffalo lawns. So for your bindi, that's the other thing. So when you're mixing your chemicals, say if you mix dicamba and Buffalo Master, I hope I get this correct. So Buffalo Master is bromoxamil and MCPA, and your Camber M is dicamba with MCPA. And so there's 200 milligrams of MCPA in your Buffalo Master, and then say 200 in Camber M. So what you're actually doing is when you mix those two products together, you've got a double ratio of your MCPA, which then can decimate your grasses or your plants. So you've got to make sure that whatever you're mixing doesn't have the same ingredients, and also temperature. So with the paspalin and clover killer that you get to spray on your lawns to take out nutgrass, paspalin, mullumbimby cooch, if you spray that above 25 degrees, it can severely, I can't think of the technical term, but it'll burn the shit out of your grass. So I had a bowling green lawn. I've used that product for 4 years to take out all the crap in my lawn. Went to use it on a bowling green lawn on a hot day, come back, and it just decimated it. It took me 6 months of fertilizing, watering, and a lot of care to try and get that bugger back to a green lawn, which I did. Thankfully I didn't lose the customer. But yeah, there's tiny things that they don't tell you, and also pets. Not one of your safety data sheets or the manuals or anything will tell you that pets and dogs should be kept off your herbicides for at least 6 to 12 hours. Some of them, like your paspalin and clover killer, are 24 hours. But they'll tell you that you can't give it to a goldfish or to cattle, yet every man and dog's got their own cat and dog. So bizarre that they don't put those statistics on there that you should have your cats and dogs locked up, which makes it really hard for a commercial commercial gardener to come in and spray someone's yard with a cat and dog and then expect them to have that dog locked up or be home to have the dog locked up. It just sometimes becomes a nightmare. So there's some other weeds that I've just found. So we've got our prickly lettuce and plantain. I hope I called the other one purslane. So this one's plantain. That succulent one is purslane, which is quite edible. And it's interesting to know where weeds have come from. Most of them all have a medicinal purpose or a herbal sort of healing property that have just, through many years of introduction into Australia, have just gone rampant. I'm sorry, I can't think of what this purple flower was. But it's more of a stalky, woody one. So this is where your star rain comes in handy. Now, the biggest thing when you're spraying lawns is to be here early enough to take out the seed bank. So like I'll use this cobbler's peg for example. So when you come here and you spray it now, it would probably just on borderline to spray this and let it drop without these germinating. If that is about to go to seed, I'll actually pick that up and take it away. Sorry, I can't think of the term for this wandering Jew. But so I just use Buffalo Master on it, or depending on what plants, generally just Buffalo Master, take it out if I can, because the worst thing is it just snaps so easily that you need to kill into that root system down below. A bit of buffalo grass, all sorts of. There's purslane, that guy there. You can eat it. It's pretty. It's got a weird flavour, salty and slimy. It's meant to be really full of antioxidants and all that sort of stuff. Here's our sow thistle or milk thistle coming through there. Your yellow vine, which is another one for star rain, being that it's more stalky, is how I remember it. What other weeds have we got here? Just lots of pain in the ass grass in the wrong spots. Yeah. So, other products that I use is my Earth Life's breakdown. So it used to be called Degerminator or Weedless, and it's got a natural enzyme in there that'll eat the germinating node on your seeds, and you get a massive weed seed reduction in the top layer. So generally, if you use those sea sole containers, when you're sea soling your lawn, or even you know, the weed and feed bottles, you just put, so basically 5 mil per square meter, that gives it a good hit, and put it into your weed and feed bottle. So work out, I've got 100 square meters, so that's 50 mil, no, 50 mil? Can't think. 500 mil. 500 mil, 50 mil. Anyway, brain shot. Use your degerminator, and that'll reduce your weed seed bank. So the biggest things you need to do is just stay on reducing your seeds, either by spraying or by mowing and hand pulling, and mulch. So get a good layer of mulch, and that will take out the bank for a while. Remember that as weed seeds can last up to 7 years, so if you drop mulch on it, say like tea tree mulch, that only lasts 18 months, then the possibility of weeds have still got that potential to come through if they haven't been composted or died out. So when I'm spraying, I use Deluge, which is a wetting surfactant. So that's just 1 mil per litre. Generally my 6 mil spray pack, I'll put in 5 to 10 mils. Then in all my spray packs, I'll put in the Deluge with the, what I say it's called now, Breakdown, which is your weed seed killer. And then I've also started trialing metsulfuron, which is 30 bucks for, I think it's 500 grams, but you only need like, again, 1 gram per 10 square meters. So it's super effective. But yeah, the biggest thing you can do to keep on top of your weeds is just be, regular mowing, spraying, and hand pulling. If you don't have time to mow, if you don't have time to spray, or don't have time, do your spraying over your mowing. Like, it's better to come through and spray your weeds and just keep hitting the weeds than it is to mow, like all this vetch here. Take out your vetch and stuff, so that way it doesn't go to seed, rather than if you're mowing it, then it's going to regerminate and go to seed. Yeah, hopefully that answers a couple of questions and things that I do. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. See you guys.